15 games, all perfect. These are Switch titles that set the bar so high, nothing else comes close. RPGs, open worlds, legendary adventures. If you're sleeping on any of these, this video is your wake-up call. This list is for you. Let's get into it. Celeste is a precision platformer where you play as Madeline, a young woman climbing a mysterious mountain. Simple controls, jump, dash, grab, but the game layers them into some of the tightest, most satisfying movement you'll ever feel. Every screen is a handcrafted puzzle that asks you to think fast and commit. You'll die hundreds of times and never once blame the game. Underneath the tough gameplay is a genuinely emotional story about anxiety and self-doubt that hits harder than you'd expect from a 2D platformer. It doesn't preach, it just tells it straight. The music is incredible, the pixel art is gorgeous, and the optional, harder levels will absolutely destroy you in the best way possible. Celeste is proof that a small game can carry the biggest heart. Hollow Knight Silksong. You're dropping into a massive underground world as Hornet, a fast and fierce warrior, on a mission through a kingdom full of bugs, traps, and secrets. Combat is snappy and aggressive, way more offensive than the original, and movement feels incredible once you unlock new tools and abilities. The world is dense, connected, and packed with hidden paths that reward exploration without holding your hand. Enemies have patterns, bosses demand patience and memory, and the atmosphere is thick, mysterious, melancholic, genuinely beautiful. There's lore buried in every corner if you look for it, and the art direction is stunning throughout. Silksong takes everything that made the first game great and builds on it with confidence. It's the kind of game you sit down to play for an hour and look up to see it's been 4. Metroid Prime Remastered drops you into the boots of bounty hunter Samus Aran on an alien planet crawling with hostile life and ancient ruins. It's a first-person adventure, not a shooter, where exploring, scanning your environment, and piecing together what happened here is the whole experience. The world is layered and interconnected, and backtracking with new abilities constantly opens up areas you couldn't reach before. Combat is tense and methodical, bosses are memorable, and the atmosphere is genuinely isolated and eerie in a way few games pull off. The remaster is stunning. It looks current-gen while keeping the soul of the original completely intact. Controls got a full modernization and feel natural now. If you've never played it, this is one of the most complete, immersive single-player experiences on Switch. Cold, mysterious, and utterly captivating from start to finish. Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 take the classic 3D platforming formula and push it into something that still feels unique even today. The core idea revolves around gravity-based gameplay, where Mario runs across small planets, flips upside down, and jumps between orbiting objects in ways that constantly change how you approach movement. Every galaxy introduces fresh mechanics, from creative power-ups like Bee Mario and cloud abilities, to clever level gimmicks that keep things unpredictable. The progression is simple but satisfying, as collecting Power Stars unlocks new areas filled with increasingly inventive challenges. While the story sticks to Mario's usual goal of rescuing Peach from Bowser, the presence of Rosalina adds a more emotional tone through her mysterious backstory. Galaxy 2 builds on everything, with tighter pacing, more difficulty, and even more experimental level design, making both games feel like a complete and unforgettable platforming experience. Fire Emblem Three Houses is a tactical RPG set in a military academy where you play as a professor leading one of 3 student houses, each tied to a different nation with its own politics, loyalties, and secrets. Between battles, you build relationships with students, explore the academy, and make choices that slowly shape the story. In battle, it's grid-based strategy, where positioning, weapon types, and class abilities determine everything. The writing is sharp, the characters are well developed, and the story branches hard depending on which house you choose. One playthrough isn't enough. Each route reveals completely different sides of the conflict. It respects your time enough to let you play at your own pace, but keeps the stakes high. The combination of personal bonds and brutal strategy creates something that's hard to put down and even harder to forget.
Next time, bring your friends.
Here goes.
NieR Automata throws you into a war between human-made androids and alien machines on a post-apocalyptic Earth. You play as 2B, a combat android, in a third-person action game where the fighting is fast, fluid, and endlessly stylish, mixing light and heavy attacks, ranged weapons, and a flying companion that changes how you engage. But NieR isn't just about action. The game is built around multiple playthroughs, each revealing new perspectives, new playable characters, and story layers that completely reframe what you thought you understood. It asks real questions about consciousness, purpose, and what it means to be alive, and it doesn't do it gently. The soundtrack is one of gaming's best, full stop. Some moments in this game will sit with you for years. It's weird, emotional, brilliant, and totally unlike anything else on the platform. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the most polished, most content-packed kart racer ever made. 48 base tracks, plus the booster course pass, bringing it to 96 total. That's an absurd amount of racing. The controls are accessible instantly, but hide real depth for competitive play. Drifting, item management, slipstreaming, shortcut knowledge. Tracks are creative and beautifully designed, full of verticality and visual surprises. Items keep every race chaotic and unpredictable in the best way. Online multiplayer is still active and genuinely competitive. Local split screen with friends is unbeatable. Battle mode is actually good here. Whether you play solo, online, or on a couch with people, this game delivers every single time. It's the definition of pick up and play, and it never gets old. 5 years on the Switch, and it's still one of the most played games on the platform for a reason. Hades is a roguelike dungeon crawler where you play as Zagreus, son of Hades, trying to escape the underworld. You fight through procedurally arranged rooms, collecting power-ups called boons from the Greek gods, building a run that feels different every time. Combat is fast, precise, and deeply satisfying. Each weapon plays completely differently, and mixing god abilities creates wild combinations. You will die constantly, and every death sends you back to the House of Hades, where the story continues through conversations with other characters. The narrative doesn't pause for gameplay. It is the gameplay. The writing is funny, warm, and genuinely touching. Progression between runs is constant. You're always unlocking something, always getting stronger. It's one of those rare games where every system feeds every other system perfectly, and you'll think, just one more run, until it's 2 a.m. Super Mario Odyssey is a 3D platformer built around Mario's new hat, Cappy, which you can throw to stun enemies or take control of them. That mechanic opens up an enormous amount of creative possibilities. You'll possess everything from frogs to tanks to dinosaurs, and each one plays completely differently. The game is packed with huge open kingdoms full of hidden moons to collect, and the density of secrets is remarkable. Movement feels incredible. The controls are deep enough that you're still finding new tricks hours in. The variety never lets up. One level is a massive city, the next is a sailing ship, the next is a lava kingdom. Boss fights are inventive and memorable. There's joy baked into every single second of this game. It's a masterclass in what 3D platforming can be: creative, generous, constantly surprising, and endlessly fun to just move around in. Hades 2 takes everything the original perfected and expands it in every direction. You play as Melinoe, a witch and princess of the underworld, fighting through Greek mythology on a journey that's bigger, deeper, and more ambitious than its predecessor. New weapons, new gods, new abilities, and 2 distinct regions to explore, each with their own enemy types, environments, and challenges. The magic system adds a whole new layer of build crafting that feels fresh and rewarding. Combat is even more dynamic, with dodges, sprints, and tools that interact in ways you discover across dozens of runs. The story is rich, the character writing is some of the best in gaming, and the art direction is jaw-dropping. It's still in development and already outclasses most finished games, a true evolution of a genre-defining formula. Hades 2 earns the #1 spot without question. Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake brings two classic JRPG adventures back to life with a stunning visual overhaul. Pixel characters layered over rich 3D environments with dynamic lighting that makes every scene look like a painting. The first game is a focused, old-school quest, where a lone hero sets out to defeat a dark lord threatening the kingdom. Short, clean, and surprisingly gripping. The second expands everything: a party of 3, a bigger world, and a story with real scope. Both games use turn-based combat that's simple to learn but satisfying to master. No complicated systems, no overwhelming menus, just classic RPG fundamentals done right. The music is orchestrated beautifully, the writing is charming, and the pacing respects your time. For veterans, it's pure nostalgia. For newcomers, it's the perfect entry point into one of gaming's greatest franchises. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom hands you a massive open-world Hyrule, but fundamentally transformed, and gives you tools that let you build, fuse, and create solutions to problems in ways no other game allows. The Ultra Hand ability lets you grab and attach objects together, while Fuse lets you combine weapons and materials to make something entirely new. The result is a sandbox where your creativity is the gameplay. Exploration goes vertical, now sky islands above, dark depths below, and the familiar surface in between. Each region has its own identity, its own challenges, and its own story threads to pull on. The main story is told brilliantly through memories scattered across the world, and the dungeons are some of the best in the series. It's enormous without feeling empty. Every hour in this world gives you something to remember, something to figure out, or something to just stop and stare at. Persona 5 Royal is a JRPG set in modern-day Tokyo, where you play as a high school student living a double life. Ordinary student by day, phantom thief by night. The phantom thieves enter supernatural dungeons called palaces, built from the twisted desires of corrupt adults, and fight using personas, manifestations of their inner selves. Combat is turn-based with a satisfying weakness system. Hit an enemy's weakness, knock them down, and chain attacks for massive damage. Outside of dungeons, you're managing your daily life, building friendships, studying, working part-time jobs, and every choice feeds into your strength in battle. The cast is one of the best in gaming, the story is bold and emotionally charged, and the style is absolutely unmatched. Every menu, every transition, every cutscene is dripping with personality. Royal adds a whole new semester of story on top of an already complete game. It's long, but every hour earns its place.
Go down!
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild dropped in 2017 and reset the standard for open-world games overnight. You wake up as Link with no memory, a mysterious voice guiding you, and an entire kingdom to explore however you want from the very first minutes. Climb any surface, glide across valleys, cook food for buffs, and solve physics-based puzzles using a small set of tools that interact with the world in endlessly creative ways. Shrines are bite-sized puzzle dungeons scattered across Hyrule, each with their own logic to crack. Weapons break, which keeps combat constantly fresh and tactical. The world rewards curiosity above everything. Go anywhere, try anything, and the game responds. There's no hand-holding, no quest markers forcing a path, just you, the wind, and a world that feels genuinely alive. Even years after launch, players are still finding things. It didn't just change Zelda, it changed how developers think about open worlds entirely. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a massive JRPG set in a world where two nations are locked in endless war, and soldiers on both sides live only to fight, with lifespans measured in cycles, not years. You follow 6 soldiers who break away from that system and set out to uncover the truth behind their world. The story is heavy, mature, and emotionally devastating in the best way. It earns every moment it asks you to feel. Combat is real-time with strategic depth. Positioning, timing, chain attacks, and a class system that lets every character switch roles and learn new abilities. The world is enormous and packed with detail. Towns, ruins, wildlife, and side quests that actually tell worthwhile stories. Party dynamics are central to everything, and watching these 6 characters grow together across 80+ hours is genuinely moving. It's the most ambitious entry in the series and delivers on every promise.
save us both. Have it! Extra!
15 games, 0 compromises. Any one of these is worth your time and money. Which one are you playing first? Let me know below, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next video.